So here's a question that we didn't get to in one of the recent webinars, which we run every Friday at 12 o'clock. So check back on the YouTube channel and log in 12 o'clock every Friday. We've got some great sessions coming up in February. This Friday, we are talking about referencing, academic referencing. All right, so just to look at this question, is it ethical to get assistance with data collection and statistical analysis? Yes, it is, absolutely. And very often, people do outsource parts of their study. But you have to own the overall design and intention of the study. You have to own the unique and clearly defined unambiguous thesis statement, which is what you're going to investigate to solve what problem, to make what contribution that has a certain significance, that makes the world a better place. Now, absolutely. I mean, there's lots of examples, and I can give you a good one. We're actually interviewing a lady next week, Friday, and we're talking about grounded theory. But in her study, because of the sensitive nature of the topic that she was interviewing her participants about, which is medical male circumcision in South Africa, and she was doing a grounded theory study on that, she found that, and I think it was when she was interviewing either males or females, I can't remember specifically, but she felt that if she was actually doing the interview, that the person might not actually open up sufficiently in the interview. So she chose somebody to do the interview on her behalf such that she would get even better results. So there can be some situations where you're actually going to enhance your study if you outsource aspects of it. But remember, you're still responsible. You know, you're still having the overall accountability for the quality of the data collection. And then with regards to statistical analysis, yes, but I would just caution against outsourcing statistical analysis if you don't already have a deep understanding of statistical analysis. I would only suggest you do that to save time, not to shortcut your lack of knowledge of statistics. So only outsource what you physically cannot get to from a time perspective, not what you cannot get to because you don't understand that. Because when you come to do the analysis and write it up, your academic voice will lack the confidence of somebody that really has got to grips with the nuances that statistics. And I know because I've tried. I've dabbled in a little bit of statistics in my PhD, and I only did it to the degree that I felt comfortable that I could talk about it and answer questions in a thesis defense, for example. You will get yourself in very hot water if you start to bring in methods and certainly statistical methods if you don't deeply understand how they work and what the results that they produce are and how that links in with what you're trying to find overall. So that would be my one caution. Having said that, on the other side of the coin, you know, I mean, in society today, we rely on, you know, economists writing reports about things in the world today that requires a deep level of statistical and quantitative analysis that we don't understand, and yet they give it back to us in a way that is understandable. But I would say that's more secondary research. You know, they've done that study from start to finish, and we're really reading the results of it in that article. So that also is again something you want to absolutely avoid, talking about someone else's study in your work. And if you've outsourced too much of the thinking and the analysis, then effectively it's going to sound like this person that you've given the statistical analysis has done your study for you, and you're just kind of relating the results back into your work. So it is a fine line. You know, I would just always test that you know, you can do the statistical analysis at a sort of simplistic level, and then if you do need to outsource it because you just don't have the time to get to it, then all that person is doing it at a higher level of volume, and there's just more work to be done. I mean, I remember in my master's degree, I had to do some computational analysis, and I calculated that if I did all the computational analysis just on my single PC, it would take me 6 months. just because I worked out the number of data points, it would take me 2 or 3 hours. I mean, back in 1999, computers were a lot slower. So to get one data point on all the graphs and analysis that I need to do, I could work back, and based on how fast it took my computer to do the calculation, I could do that calculation. So then I took the program, I installed it at my girlfriend's house on her parents' computer. I installed it on a couple of other my friends' computers, and then I had 4 or 5 computers running in parallel producing these results. But I mean, I installed it and I managed the program. I just needed the computational power working in parallel. And the same could be said for when you need to outsource aspects of your study. But I knew exactly what that computer was doing, and I wrote that program that was doing that computation analysis. It might just have produced one single data point. Then I added those data points together to produce my results in my master's degree. So again, I think you're touching a fine line here. But if you're ever in any doubt, just take ownership of it, do the work yourself, run through a couple of examples from start to finish, and then just give that example of that pattern to somebody else to do if you don't have the time to do all of them, like I did with the computers. Treat the humans that you need to help you like additional parallel processing to help you get through the volume of your study, if that's what you need.